toys were huge in the 80s. You look at the graphics on those video games now and it's laughable. But back then, it was the shit. And I also saw many comments on stories about this case, about how she shouldn't have left him alone in the toy department, blah blah blah. I mean, honestly, it was the 80s. It was a very different time, especially it was the 80s, and it was also pre-Adam Walsh being murdered. This case, like I said, really did have an impact after his murder on how people watched their children and how they left their children unattended, if they did at all. But prior to this case, it was not unusual for a child to be able to be a little bit free range, if you will. Didn't mean they weren't loved, didn't mean they weren't well watched. It was just a different time. And also, she was 3 aisles away by the lamps, and he was just 3 aisles away in the toy department in a crowded store. So you think you'd be safe. So anyway, his mom returned just 10 minutes later. She wasn't even gone that long. And she returned to find that Adam and the other boys were gone. A store manager informed her that a scuffle had broken out over whose turn it was at the kiosk between the boys, and a security guard demanded that the boys leave the store. The security guard was 17 years old. I think that's amazing. Like, why? So the security guard asked the boys if their parents were present, and they said they weren't. And Adam's parents later said that Adam was probably too shy to speak up, and probably didn't tell the security guard that his mother was in the store. So anyway, when the older boys said that they weren't there with a parent, the older boys were ushered out by the west entrance, an entrance that Adam was not familiar with. So his parents think, in hindsight, that after the other boys dispersed, Adam was left alone outside at the store at an exit that was unfamiliar to him. So, meanwhile, Adam is missing. His mom is looking for him in the toy department, and coincidentally, she runs into her mother-in-law, Adam's grandmother, Jean, also at the store, who then started helping in the search. So after 90 minutes of searching and paging him and being unable to locate him, Reve, his mom, then called the Hollywood police at 1:55 p.m. So that was July 27th, 1981. On August 10th, 1981, a severed head was found in a drainage canal alongside the Florida Turnpike near Vero Beach, Florida. That's about 130 miles from Hollywood, Florida. Indian River County and St. Lucie County divers then began to search the canal further. On Monday, then on the morning of August 11th, John and Reve, John Walsh the dad, Reve Walsh the mom, they appeared on national television saying that they hoped to still find Adam alive. And a reward of $100,000 was offered for Adam's safe return, which in today's dollars would be over $350,000. That was a big award back then. Reward. But sadly, tragically, soon after that, the remains were positively identified as being that of Adam. The coroner ruled the cause of death as asphyxiation. The state of the remains suggested that Adam had died several days before the discovery of his head. The rest of his body was never recovered, and the head itself would be kept in a morgue until the case's closure in 2008. So, here's a little bit about the investigation. John and Reve knew that the Hollywood Police Department had botched the treatment of Adam as a missing person at first. The source said that the blood found in Toole's car could not be identified. The police ultimately, get this, lost the blood-stained carpet from the car. The machetes that have been used to decapitate Adam, and eventually the car itself. Wow. Toole was a confidant of convicted serial killer Henry Lee Lucas, and Toole repeatedly confessed and then retracted his accounts of his involvement. Toole was never charged in Adam's case, although he provided seemingly accurate descriptions as to how he committed the crime. There's a 2019 Netflix miniseries called The Confession Killer that shows footage of him apparently being fed information from interrogators, and he later confessed to several cases that he had no involvement in. Several witnesses also placed him in the Hollywood area in the days leading up to Adam's disappearance. In September 1996, he died of cirrhosis of the liver and AIDS at the age of 49 while serving a life sentence for other crimes. Later, his niece told John Walsh, who is Adam's father, John Walsh of fame, America's Most Wanted, that his niece told John Walsh that Toole had made a deathbed confession to Adam's murder. His confession was viewed as unreliable, as he and Lucas had confessed to or implicated themselves in more than 200 homicides. Most of Lucas's confessions were later revealed to have been false, having been coerced by the Texas Rangers. In 1997, Hollywood Police Chief Rick Stone conducted an exhaustive review of Adam's case after the release of John Walsh's book. At the time, Stone was a 22-year veteran of the Dallas, Texas, and Wichita, Kansas police departments, and he had been appointed to Hollywood's chief of police the previous year. Although the crime had happened 16 years before the time of his review, he provided an analysis of the evidence, including a review of taped interrogations of Toole by Hollywood detective Mark Smith. Stone says that his review found evidence beyond a reasonable doubt that Toole murdered Adam. Stone later said that both Toole and Lucas were notorious for confessing to crimes that they had committed and then recanting. In 2007, according to allegations that earned widespread publicity, Jeffrey Dahmer, famed Jeffrey Dahmer, was arrested in Wisconsin in 1991 after killing a dozen boys and men. Was also named a suspect in Adam's murder. Dahmer's father called the America's Most Wanted hotline after his son's arrest to claim that he believed his son was also a pedophile. Dahmer was living in Miami Beach at the time of Walsh's murder, and two eyewitnesses placed him at the mall on the day Adam was abducted. One claimed to have seen a strange man walking around the toy department. The other said he saw a young, blonde man with a protruding chin throw a struggling child into a blue van and speed off. etc. And, as getting into the 90s when Jeffrey Dahmer's name emerged, I didn't know about that. I didn't know about that until like 2 days ago, like I said. But certainly this case has a legacy. Like I mentioned, particularly with Gen X, I remember as a kid asking a friend who lived down the street if she could come over and ride bikes, and she said, yeah, well, I have to wait till somebody can drive me to your house. She said, maybe once my mom forgets about Adam, then I'll be able to ride my bike up to your house again. It was like a block and a half, 2 blocks down the street. So it was something we were aware of, and the thought of being lured into a child being lured into a car by the promise of candy and toys, I remember from as long as I can remember, even pre-Adam, that I was always told you never get into a car with somebody, even if they say like your parents have been in an accident and I'm here to take you to them. My mom and dad both told me, like, no, we wouldn't do that. We'd send somebody or it would be a police officer. And so I think that maybe my parents were a little bit ahead of their time in their paranoia. But definitely after this case, then it was drilled into me again too. It was reinforced to me by my parents. It was reinforced to us at school by the nuns. Stranger danger was definitely a part of Gen X childhood, particularly after 1981. So that editorial aside, here's a little bit more on the legacy of this case from Wikipedia. There was a television film called Adam that premiered on October 10th, 1983. I remember seeing that at some point. The film was based on Walsh's kidnapping and murder, and it attracted 38 million viewers with its first airing. Each of its 3 broadcasts in 1983, 84, and 85 were followed by pictures and descriptions of missing children. A hotline was also created to take calls that may have materialized into leads for investigators. The pictures and hotline were credited for finding 13 of 55 children shown. American rapper Bizzy Bone, who was abducted by his stepfather as a child, was reunited with his mother after a babysitter recognized a photo of him during the broadcast. So that was a helpful outcome. And then there is the impact on laws and organizations for missing children. In 1984, the U.S. Congress passed the Missing Children's Assistance Act, owning in part to the advocacy of the Walshes and other parents of missing children. It followed the formation of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. The Code Adam program for helping lost children in department stores is named in Adam's memory. The U.S. Congress passed the Adam Walsh Child Protection and Safety Act on July 25th, 2006, and President George W. Bush signed it into law on July 27th of 2006. The signing ceremony took place on the White House lawn, and it was attended by John and Reve Walsh. The bill institutes a national database of convicted child Did you stay